David, you've mentioned 3 or 4 times just in the last few minutes that, we need to focus and keep our eye on the ball over the next 13 days before the inauguration of Joe Biden. Is this a serious concern that people in Washington are really gaming out at this point? What can go wrong in the next 13 days?
Well, foreign enemies always want to take advantage of weak spots. And I would say right now the United States looks a little weak overseas. So if you're planning a military attack, I'm not sure that that's probably something that's going to happen. But a cyber attack is something that maybe we're more vulnerable in than we were a few days ago. So we need to be careful. And I do think that if the Democrats and Republicans can work together for a change, that would be a good thing for the country. And the markets would certainly like that. Let's see if over the next 13 days, the Democrats and Republicans in the Congress and around the country can say we have a higher priority, which is to make certain our democratic system works and works well. That's the highest priority. Remember, democracy is something that we've fought for. Many, many people have given their lives for this country and this democracy. And I do think that over the next 13 days, we can put aside some of our differences, come together. And I think the leadership in Congress, the Democrats and Republicans really want that. They've been through a scare yesterday, and it's a scare that they're not going to forget for some time. And I think if they want to really help the country, they ought to come together and make certain through statements to the public over the next day or so that the country is working well and the system of democracy we have is not perfect, but it's working well and it'll get us through the next 13 days and hopefully the next 4 years at least.
David, question for you. So many of the comments and statements that have been put out by business leaders have condemned the events of yesterday, but have not condemned the president, in some cases obliquely, with the exception of the Manufacturers Association, which has called for the impeachment or 25th Amendment to be considered. I would ask you, would you condemn the president on air right now? And do you believe that he should either be impeached or the 25th Amendment should be put in place and used right now?
Well, the 25th Amendment was set up for some different purposes. I used to work for Senator Birchby, who was a principal author of that, and that became the law in 1967. It has worked in some cases, for example, when a vice president resigned as Spiro Agnew, and we had a new vice president come in, Gerald Ford. But I don't think that condemnation today is the most important thing. It's easy to condemn somebody. It's not very difficult to say somebody's done something wrong. It's just terrible. What we really want to do is protect our democracy. And the most important thing that we should do is worry about what we're going to do over the next 13 days, how we make sure the government works well, we're protected against foreign enemies, cyber attacks, and other kinds of things. And that in the next 4 years, we make certain that we have a process that works better than this process. Clearly, having a gap between November and now for counting votes is probably longer than we should have.
Do you think that you should have condemned what was taking place before this then? Take these 13 days out of it? And what do you think? Tom Friedman would say there should be a red line put down right now on what took place so that we don't ever have it happen again.
Well, I would hardly hold myself out as a perfect person. I'm not a public official and I'm not a member of Congress and so forth. But as a person in the business world, I wasn't happy with what's happening. But I don't know that my voice means as much as the voices of people who have been elected to hold positions in government and so forth, or people who have been confirmed by the Congress and so forth. But I think the most important thing now is to figure out how to get through the next 13 days and then make sure we have a healthy new administration.
David, but here's the thing, and this is the thing that I've been trying to just grapple with all morning. Over the last several years, business leaders like yourself have talked about values and social responsibility, One Carlyle, all of this. And it can't be that all of a sudden your voice doesn't matter on this issue, but it does matter on these other issues. That's the thing that I just don't understand.
Well, I wish my voice mattered on all issues. I wish people would listen to me all the time. I don't think they do. On certain matters, they might. But I don't want to make myself as a business person sound as if I have all the answers to solve the government problems. That's not the general role of business. But business can do a pretty good thing in weighing in at appropriate times. I think the business community is weighing in now, saying enough is enough. Let's figure out how to get the Democrats and Republicans to work together, not worry about petty differences, and improve the electoral process so this doesn't happen again.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.